Hey internet friends, billionaire banker and philanthropist David Rockefeller died today at the ripe old age of 101. And in honor of his memory, so that no one ever forgets about the Rockefeller legacy, I've thrown together 6 surprising facts about David Rockefeller. Let's get started. Number 1. The Rockefeller family is considered one of the most powerful families, if not the most powerful family, in the history of the United States. They made their fortune in the oil business. David's brother, Nelson Rockefeller, was the 31st Vice President of the United States, serving under President Gerald Ford from 1974 to 1977. Other Rockefeller family members have served as governors and senators, but David Rockefeller chose a different path, which brings us to number 2. Billionaire banker David Rockefeller of the Chase National Bank, one of the world's most powerful financial institutions, was one of the earliest advocates of building the World Trade Center in New York. Here he is on the cover of Newsweek magazine in 1967, just after the Twin Towers broke ground to build. His wristwatch is set to 9 and 11. Number 3. In his memoir, published in 2003, David Rockefeller said the conspiracy about one world order is true, which is particularly interesting for him to say, as he is one of the founding members of the mysterious Bilderberg Group. If you're unaware of the New World Order, it refers to the emergence of a totalitarian world government. To establish a New World Order, the population must be controlled. Overpopulation is a problem for those who want to rule the world, so depopulation is key. This starts with propaganda focused on destroying the traditional family. It involves mass surveillance and mind control and weaponizing food, water, viruses, and vaccines, just to name a few things. Throw eugenics in there too, which brings us to number 4. David Rockefeller's father funded eugenics. In 1930, millions of dollars from the Rockefeller Foundation funded racial science eugenics programs in the US and Germany. Let's fast forward. In 1952, David Rockefeller compiled a report for President Eisenhower, which concluded that a rise in the birth rate in the poorer nations would create instability and endanger U.S. access to important resources. Through U.S.-funded projects, by 1979, 35% of women of childbearing age in the U.S. colony of Puerto Rico had been sterilized. Speaking of sex, that brings us to number 5. Number 5. Alfred Kinsey's research was funded by the Rockefeller Foundation through the National Research Council's Committee for the Research and Problems of Sex. If you don't know who Alfred Kinsey is, he is one of the most influential Americans of the 20th century. He conducted landmark studies of the male and female sexual behavior that helped usher in the sexual revolution of the 1960s and 1970s, which also involved systematic child sexual abuse, mostly of boys, as young as 2 months old. In the name of science, Kinsey published his findings of orgasms in infants and children. Also in the name of science, Kinsey created a field that advocated for the normalization of sex between adults and children, including infants and youths, as well as sex with animals. Which brings us to our final fact. Our final David Rockefeller fact. David Rockefeller died 101 years old on March 20th, the day of the spring equinox, which really means very little without context. A man from the most powerful family in the United States, a man from a family who patented the Zika virus, funded eugenics, and funded a man who masturbated children for a living, was rumored to have underwent multiple heart transplants, allegedly 7. He died on the day of the spring equinox, a day known for pagan sacrifices. Chew on that, my friends, and thank you so much for watching and subscribing. Please leave whatever Rockefeller facts you have down below so we can all continue to remember the impact his family has left on all of our lives.